Day to go for Diwali, and the AQI in the national capital is already rising. And not just the very poor or unhealthy levels, it is in fact very likely to reach up to the severe category. And this is going to be the first time for this season that the AQI in the national capital during the Diwali season is going and actually nosediving into the severe category. But what remains at the core of this is how, in fact, the pollutants and the source of where the pollutants are contributing into the air quality and into the air pollution levels in the national capital. And to understand more about what are actually the sources which are increasingly contributing into the pollution which is rising in the national capital, we are joined by the IITM senior scientist, Sachin Gude. Thank you for speaking to Newsx. The IITM is the Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, which is based in Pune, and it does the intensive study of, in fact, breaking down and understanding how the contribution of different sources of pollution and emissions are in fact coming into the Delhi area, and also now making the mark of considerably giving the number of the AQI. Sir, thank you for speaking to Newsx. At this point of time, what can we understand by the system, which is the DSS, and gives the reading of understanding the sources of pollution which contribute into the Delhi's air?
Yeah, so actually we have developed indigenous air quality early warning and decision support system. So DSS is basically a part of air quality forecasting system called decision support system. So what do you mean by decision support system? So it basically gives you the information about what are the sources and how much they are contributing to the air quality in Delhi. So you get the percentage of different sources to the contribution of AQI in Delhi for today and for next 5 days. So we also do the prediction of likely contribution of different sources to the air quality in Delhi. So how we do that? So one way of doing is to actually go for the measurements and measure the specific chemical markers which are coming from the different sources. But that is difficult to have because there are so many sources and they are scattered everywhere. So you cannot do with a single measurement. So we need to rely on mathematical models. So we have developed indigenously one model which is coupled with the air quality model. There what we do, we take all the sources through emission inventory. We know where are the industries, where are the transportation hotspots, where are the farm fires occurring, where are the big kilns, and we tag those emission sources using a mathematical technique called tracers. And those tracers go into the model, and then we run the model for next 5 days using the meteorology provided by India Meteorological Department. So these tracers are then circulated into the model as per the wind direction, as per the local meteorological condition, and then we can track each and every particle coming from each and every emission source. So if any brickling is emitting some pollution outside Delhi, so the emissions coming or the PM 2.5 coming from that brickling can actually get tracked in the model, and then we can see how much such particles are coming to Delhi. We know that how much already particles are there in Delhi from the Delhi sources, and then we can calculate the relative contribution of those sources. So that is how we actually track the emission from different sources within Delhi, outside Delhi. We also track the districts which are contributing to Delhi. So we are basically tracking right now Delhi and surrounding 24 districts to get the contribution, how much different districts and different sectors are contributing to the air quality in Delhi. And that is how we gave the decision. Now suppose transportation is contributing to the air quality in Delhi, so we say that the dominant contribution is coming from the transportation sector. That's how also we look at the biomass burning emissions. So how we track the biomass burning emissions? So there are a number of satellites which measures the fire counts happening in the field. So we monitor all those fire counts. We also get the information about the burnt area, and then we know how much crop load is in that field. So we can then convert that information into the emission. And that is how we do every day. So every day till 5 p.m. we get all this information from the observations coming from the satellite. We convert them into an emission load, and then we track. Each field is tracked with the tracers. And then the plume coming from that fields, when they enter into the Delhi space, we can actually see how many particles are coming. And that's how we measure the biomass burning contribution. So best part of this contribution, because it is not, we cannot say that it is highly uncertain because it's based on observation. It's not just based on the bottom of emission inventory, it is based on real-time observations occurring every day through the satellites. So we are converting those observations into a meaningful information. And that is how we are getting the biomass burning contribution to Delhi's airspace.
What is the real-time study that we can understand by the use of DSS about the various source from where the pollution and the emissions are coming? Yeah. If we can show that.
Yes. So here you can see that these are the maps of surround Delhi and surrounding districts, and you can see that the patterns are changing. So it means that more red it is, the more contribution is coming from that sector. So right now you can see that the Delhi is showing little higher reddish color. It means that the maximum contribution to the Delhi's air quality is coming from Delhi. And if the colors are changing, like Jhajjar or Gautam Buddha Nagar, if they are going towards more red, it means that maximum contribution is coming from those districts. So that's how we get this information for the contribution from different districts to the air quality in Delhi. At the same time, you can also see, here you can also see that how much the different sectors are contributing, how much transportation is contributing, how much Jhajjar is contributing, how much Panipat is contributing. For next 5 days, how much will be their contribution? That is all is getting from the DSS system. Okay. Yeah.
And apart from that, is there any kind of a study or the data that we have to understand that in Delhi, what are the different sources from biomass or the vehicular pollution?
Yes, so this is the website. You can visit this website, and here you can see that these vertical bars are actually showing how much contribution of biomass burning happened during last 10 to 15 days on everyday basis. So you can see that on 22 or 23 October the contribution was made. So what happens, many times there are large fires in the farm, but you still get lower contribution of biomass burning in Delhi. So that is because of the wind pattern. If winds are blowing from east to west, so even the farm fires are occurring in the Punjab and Haryana, so that will not push pollution towards Delhi, that will push pollution away from Delhi. So many times it happens there are 2,000, 3,000 fire counts, but you get a very less contribution. So winds does play a lot of role in controlling farm fires into Delhi's airspace.
Dominating the air pollution levels, because the wind direction in fact directs that at what kind of a pollution or emission will be tracked for the pollution.
Yes, so mostly what happens during winter period, you get more stable condition. So stable condition means that you have a cooling, you get a capping, we called it as an inversion layer. So there is a less chance of pollution to get dispersed vertically and horizontally. So pollution stays more at the source, and that's why you get a trapping and more pollution. So wind does play a role in ventilating the pollution. If you have more winds, whether it is easterly or westerly, but the winds are very high, then the boundary layer is deep, you get a vertical mixing, and obviously you get lesser air quality at the surface. So wind also control a lot of pollution in Delhi. So last year what happened, I'll tell you an example. So in 2022, we have a certain amount of fire in Punjab and Haryana. In 2023, the fire counts were less compared to 2022. But if you look at the 2023 air quality, so more number of days were in poor and severe compared to 2022, even though the fires were very high. So that happened because of, in 2022, we had a more ventilative conditions. So winds were high, that's why more ventilation occurred, and irrespective of more farm fires, we got less number of days falling into that criteria. So if you keep farm fires same, but if the winds are changing, weather is changing, so your contribution will change. Yeah.
But the emission source from the biomass burning will contribute not just in Delhi, but if the winds are blowing in the direction of where the farm fires have happened. Ultimately, if farm fires are larger in quantity or in number, it is going to contribute. If not in Delhi, it is going to contribute where the wind blows.
Yes, right? Yes. And many times what we have seen, so there is a transport time. So it is not like we had a farm fire today, so immediately within 2 hours you will get impact on Delhi's airspace, because it takes time to travel that plume towards Delhi. So many times we have seen that either it is traveling within 18 hours or it takes 36 hours also. So winds are changing. So initially transport plume towards western side, and because of circulatory patterns of wind, our wind are changing, then that bring pollution to the Delhi's airspace. So this is all controlled by the dynamics, meteorological conditions. Yeah. But eventually, irrespective it is moving towards Delhi or towards other side, it will pollute that area, downwind area. We called it as a downwind area.
And quickly also show us into the form of study as in what exactly forecast pertains for Delhi ahead of this pre-Diwali season, or just till Diwali as well, if we have that data.
Yes, okay, I'll show that. So basically, the conditions are not very conducive for us. So we'll have a severe, it is expected because based on our forecast, we have seen that the air quality may touch severe category. But now CAQM is controlling the many of the sources, and if they go for more stringent action, we may have certain reduction. So we may avoid the severity of,
it is most likely to touch to severe category.
Yes, it's most likely that it will touch to severe air quality. The thing is that we developed two type of forecast. One is called as a short-term forecast, which is more accurate. So for next 3 days, if we are predicting AQI, that will be more accurate. And then we also generate a 10 days of forecast that is indicative. So that gives you information about like a condition, whether it will go into a severe category or will stay in a very poor category. But so right now we have not gone up to 1st of November because so it is generated to 3 days of forecast. But we do have analysis for we do have indicative analysis, and it does show that it will go somewhere around. Yeah. So here you can see that on 29th it is. So it will go up to severe category. There is a little dip because fortunately right now the models are indicating that on 31st night and 1st we'll have more windy conditions. You can see here, So this is the Diwali period and we have little higher wind. So winds will compensate some of the pollution. Yeah, agar ye winds, if it could have been lower winds, then we would have been a more severe condition. Yeah. So these 2 days we have little windy conditions.
But as per the map that you showed before than this, in fact, the AQI looked like touching 400 as per the indicative, we can understand on 31st.
Yeah, on 31st. Yeah. So it will go up to 400. Yeah.
It is most likely bound.
But that condition the accuracy will come when we'll run the model tomorrow. So 72 hours of forecast gives you more accurate conditions than the 10 days of forecast. So
because it's more near to the calculations in the model.
Yes, and model does have errors. So when you run the models for longer time, the error gets propagated and then the accuracy of forecast comes down. So right now we have tested our model and for 72 hours the accuracy of forecast is somewhere around 80 to 83%, and that is a very good in terms of numerical modeling. So globally there is no agency which is giving the forecast at such a higher resolution, and that too for the conditions we see in Delhi. So we get Delhi's, if you look at Delhi's environment, we get PM 2.5 and PM 10 concentration somewhere around 300 and 400 microgram. So that condition is unmatched with any other places in the globe. And to develop a forecast to capture those kind of levels is extremely difficult. But then our scientists have developed that system, so we worked hard for last 3-4 years, and now you look at, so we are competing with the NASA, we are competing with the ECMWF, we are competing with the NCAR. Yeah, so our system is at par with their air quality forecasting, and we do provide their forecast on our website to see how we are competing with them, and consistently we have seen that our forecast is very accurate.
Yeah. Thank you for speaking to us. In fact, this is not going to be a great news for the people of Delhi and around. As per the forecast and the sources of pollution are concerned, the model that has been developed only to cater and to trace from what are actually the contributors of pollution into increasing the air pollution in national capital indicate that the AQI is in fact going to be in the severe category. Well, in that case, it is all up to us and the governments to take precautionary measures and to protect ourselves from the rising pollution levels and the implications and of course of the pollution hazards. This is Simran for Newsx with camera person Avdesh.
For more such videos, subscribe to the Newsx YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.